I'm just gonna fix up the Twitch stream. I'll share my screen on Discord. And then let's get started.
Oh, hello?
Hey, Jamerz.
If I get the chance, maybe even right now, I want to pick your brain about the APHIS challenge. I'm like a minute and a half shy, and I'm like, I don't know what I could do better other than not building too many mexes and
Advanced Fusion.
oh,
What's this again?
with the APHIS challenge on Comet Catcher Remake,
Yeah.
there's a leaderboard for who could make the fastest APHIS. And
Yeah.
right now the time's it's at 7 minutes 46 seconds or something like that.
So I'd say something like you want to stop building T2 mexes about 6 minutes then, or something like that. If you're going for that, if you're going to beat that time, because a T2 mex takes about 90 seconds to pay itself off, if I remember correctly. Might be different on Comet Catcher, but what we've got, assuming you already had a T1 max, so you get 6 metal a second from the T2 max. Yeah, it takes about 90 seconds, maybe slightly more. So that would be the limit for you building your T2 maxes is 6 minutes. No T2 maxes past that.
I haven't even tried while using T2 mexes because my main problem is energy most of the time. Like I have metal, even just sending two cons out expanding gives me enough metal to make the APHIS, but usually just like the energy scale and trying to build up enough build power to make an APHIS in time. So it's interesting that you're suggesting the T2 mexes. I feel like that would take too much time and too many resources.
You could make it a fusion and put some converters nearby, and once you're ready to eat it, you can just blow them up, and it'll get them to 1 HP, and you get all the metal back.
That's not a terrible idea. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, when I eco, I do that a lot. You have like one con turret or a res bot, just blow up the converters, and they'll get it down to like maybe 10 HP, and just eat it.
Yeah, I recently saw a video by Rongo where he was playing the eco position and he had, I don't know, 4 or 5 regular fusions and then T1 converters lined up on the side, and he detonated the converters and it dropped all the fusions down to like, I don't know, 5% health so they could be reclaimed almost instantly.
Yeah.
Really cool idea.
I'm guessing you go all like a ton of wind usually.
For tech?
No, I'm saying you usually build a lot of wind to like for E when you're going for this challenge.
No, it's on Comet Catcher, so there's no wind. All solar.
Okay. I'm guessing you already reclaimed the solar once you're ready.
I mean, kinda. I swapped some of them over as I'm building advanced solars, but you need most of the solars that you put down to power building the APHIS. Like the advanced
Do you use
solar.
e-storage by any chance or no?
I use an e-store. Yeah, I build that one early, so that way I can roll out cons and construction turrets faster.
An e-store on Comet Catcher?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right.
It helps when you're eating your solars and going into a fusion or an APHIS.
I guess. Okay.
I guess I could try without building the storage, but it just helps build a lot of construction turrets quickly because it's they're energy expensive. So regardless of my income, I burn through it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, how about let's worry about that another time. Let's just give this a game and see where.
I'm gonna need you to turn on Legion, by the way. It's like my best faction by far.
Alright. Sure, go ahead. I'm not super familiar with the Legion units, but I should be able to give you advice.
Hey, your boss, you're gonna do it.
Alright.
I'm gonna step away for a moment.
Okay. Okay. I didn't have time to fix one of my widgets, which is a little bit frustrating. It wasn't working last week either. I kept wanting to use it, and it so we'll make do without it.
Luck. It'll be.
Have you seen the games you played with Othello and Excel on this map, Yell?
No, I was like my third time playing this map.
Okay. So one of the things we talked over with them is this idea of like you like push your commander down one lane of the map, and you send your army down another lane of the map, and then you like just put up defenses to block the third lane. We can talk more about that at the end of this game, but that could be a useful thing to keep in mind.
I'm mostly an 8v8 player, so
Yeah. Well, it's a similar thing like in an 8v8. What 8v8 do you play? What map?
usually just play rotos or glitters.
Okay. Most lanes on glitters say rainbow. It's like wide enough that you've got like a space where your commander goes in on one side of the lane, and initially you have like scouts and pawns blocking off the other half of the lane. Are you familiar with that idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's similar to what how you play in a 1v1. You send your commander one location and that holds that location, and it has to build a few more LLTs because it's got more area to block off. And then you send your army in the area where your commander can't defend, and then you can expand behind that with cons and stuff. Actually working out to be a fairly even game. There should be a lot we can talk about in this one. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing the improvement. I like it.
Oh, that's an interesting camera angle to play at.
It's too big.
Yeah, that's something related to the idea I was talking about earlier. You send your army in one lane to defend that lane and you expand behind it. Your commander's in the other lane. You're very spread thin right now with your army spread all across the map and expanding all across the map at the same time. Oh, nice.
It's funny when you say that, Val, because it's always something you don't like.
No. No.
No?
No.
Okay. I thought you saw something you're like, okay, we're gonna do that. But...
I really want to ask questions about it because I'm really curious the thought process behind it. But I tentatively like it. There's a lot of other things I don't like though. Lunch, what's your plan with all that energy? Okay.
You know, I don't think I've ever seen that on Avalanche. Very hard for me to distinguish distance when I'm looking through his point of view.
Imagine it's something you could get used to.
Oh, I'm sure. Suppose it's been like a year now that I've been looking at everything top down and through icons.
Okay, I don't do icons. I've got the setting set that
Really?
on this map I don't see icons even if I'm at max zoom. And I prefer it that way. I'm
Interesting.
actually really annoyed that they changed the max icon distance, that on larger maps you can't change it so that you never see icons.
Very interesting.
Well, I don't think this is gonna be enough. That's a shame. Damn shame.
It could have been, and we can talk about that. I repeat, Launch, what's your plan with all that energy?
Never stall. Ever. He did type in chat.
Yes, I know. Which is why I've taken so long to repeat the question.
Yep, that's a G.
Commander has died.
Alright, well, that was my first time seeing air on Avalanche.
Battle ended.
Okay.
Figure it was a Banshee snipe. Pretty good game, guys. I liked that.
Battle started.
So, Launch. First thing I want to say is about your air. We see here you needed 300. You had about 22 metal per second, I believe, was your metal income overall. For Banshees, you need 374. You 374 energy per metal to build those Banshees. Keep an eye throughout the game on your energy production and how much you overshoot that. Just something to keep in mind. So this start is alright. The big thing I want to point out here, Yel, is walking the commander away from the factory when there's no constructor here. That can be quite a big problem because, as we see, like, you're not using the metal that you're producing. You've only got like 50 in storage most of the time, but that very quickly turns into just having fewer units than you have. So first constructor, I would say should always either have a commander or 1 or 2 constructors assisting your factory. I'd probably go for 2 on this map. But 1 constructor is, or 0 constructors is definitely too few, even with the factory changes. Also, there's, in this situation on the map, this is not where you should be giving your attention and fighting, because this is where you have a marginal advantage, if that. This, you actually have a quite major advantage up here, where you've got 5 grunts against 2 pawns and a tick. This could just drive straight in here and cause lots of problems for launch.
Yeah, once I saw that con, I got greedy and wanted to kill it.
Alright. That's not how I want you to think. How I want you to think is not, what do I want to kill, but where can I kill? This is not where you can kill. I mean, with some expert micro, sure, you can possibly kill the pawns by outranging them. Way too much effort for way too little reward. These can just mow this down, control this, give your commander space to walk up here, build the mexes, get a radar, middle of the map, and then you can see everything he does. That's what you should be doing with your advantage. Rather than, you should be pushing this major advantage rather than pushing this micro advantage. Make sense?
Yeah.
And we kind of see this sort of idling in the middle of the map a bunch here.
Yeah, I'm APM stalling a lot.
Yeah. Well, why? Talk me through APM stalling. What's going on when you APM stall?
I'm just trying to do too much at once.
Okay. What are you doing at once?
I'm trying to cover all 3 lanes, get like a front line settled, and go back and get my eco to scale. That makes sense.
Okay. Your eco is fine. And there are a couple things we can do that sort of help you set and forget your eco. But your eco is fine at the moment. What is not fine is trying to be in 3 lanes at once. Because this can't do anything because you don't have any time. Even if he sent units through that, you probably wouldn't be able to respond, right? And you have this radar here for information about what's going on. If you also want, you can pop a radar down there and then you can see whether he sends any units up there. So you don't need that grunt up there at all. So that's one thing you can stop worrying about. Another thing that's easier to worry less about is this lane. You've got your commander here, so you can drop laser towers here. A good place for a laser tower is like over here. It limits the run by, so he has to go right against that edge, or he has to go over here. And then once you've got that there, your commander walks over there and blocks off this route, right? It makes it a lot harder for him to run by, and then you can add another laser tower over here while you're over here, and it just seals that off completely. That's what you do in order to seal one lane. And now you could be pushing your units over here, but conversely, because you had those 5 grunts in the middle initially, right, and the 2 grunts over here, you could have had your 5 grunts over here and 2 grunts over there, and that would have been better.
Yeah.
You would have been able to kill this constructor, and then you have access to this side of the base where it's really bad for him to walk his commander that way. So if you put your grunts over here and force him to walk his commander that way, that's great for you. And especially because your grunts can then just come up here and come this way once his commander's over there. Because his command can't threaten you over here. It's much easier for his commander to threaten you in the middle of the map when it's shorter, right?
Yeah.
So army over here, commander over here, and if you get concerned that he's going to send here, you've got your build powering base that can just park an army right here and defend you against that. Your commander drops a couple LLTs as you walk forward, because you know you're going to have to defend here, because this is the shortest rush distance to your base. And then that's what you do. Alright? You want to give that a go?
Yeah.
Okay, let's rerun that.
I just had one point.
Yeah?
Even though you didn't want to bring it up, the energy storage on a map so small as Avalanche is probably not a good idea, because the time, metal, and energy that you put into that could probably be better served as units or something.
Yeah. That is true, but I don't want you to worry about that right now.
Yeah, I still wanted to bring it up, because
Okay.
the distance between your enemy is very important with how you open, right? And how much time you have, like how much greed you can get away with. I just, it's hard to justify an energy storage in Avalanche.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sorry about that. I was trying to talk to a new player.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Can we swap out lunch for Grassytiger? I want to just get an idea of Grassytiger's playing, so that I can decide how we play out from here.
Yeah, I'm a little rusty because I didn't
That's
play
all right.
much this week.
That's all right.
Okay.
When you're ready. Oh.
Never occurred to me, and I think it actually insults the dialogue to take that and say Ta-Nehisi owns West Point Cadets.
I'll just pick random.
Battle started.
That's a good idea.
Second stream.
Oh, labs don't require as much energy to build anymore. It used to be 69. Oh no, okay, no, that's actually not the fault of the factory.
You
That's
got a
something else.
lisp.
Have you checked the average energy launch? Average wind speed? Also, have you checked the number of mixes on the map? That's another important thing to check when you're deciding how much energy to build. Yell, check your income. I'd leave that constructor in the factory and walk the second one away.
Wait, say that again?
You're walking a constructor away from the factory, but you have plenty of metal to spend. So I'd have kept that constructor in the factory rather than using the second one there. Okay, nice. And you see the effectiveness of that? Yeah. That attack could have gone better, but that was great. And keep in mind, like, you can see that he's got something mid, right? That's his commander. You couldn't have done that if you were pushing the units through mid. And so that's the power of dividing up your lanes in that way. And because you've got good vision of the north of the map, right? You're pretty fine on, like, defending against things coming through there. Not completely safe, but fairly safe. And even if you dropped a radar where your commander is now, you'd be able to see if anything moves through the top of the map. But launched, you said about you should have converted it faster. Converting is better than accessing, sure, but converting energy is one of the lowest return things that you can do. And so if you're converting energy into metal and they're doing something like shooting your units with their units, they're going to get value way faster. And even if your eco's growing, you're going to end up getting behind really quickly. Remember, Yell, that top lane, that's your defend lane, not your expand lane. You've got all the expansion you need south, so don't worry about splitting your army and doing stuff in the north of the map. Just defend that, and you're fine. Grassytiger, you have plenty enough energy, don't worry about building more. Yeah, I still stand by that. Because even though you've got a bunch of metal in your storage right now, you're not going to have that forever. You've got enough energy to get through that storage. And so once you get through that storage, you're just going to be out of metal and nothing to spend the energy, so you don't need the extra energy. Finn, that's not the only thing you can do. So, Yell, if you see, you've got a ton of metal in storage, and you've got a lot of, you've got barely any energy. That's a good opportunity to stop building grunts and start building something like a thug, because a thug costs very little energy, while your grunts cost a ton of energy to build. And so thugs are going to allow you to build a lot faster. You can also, as Chaos Finn suggested, grab one of your constructors, and rather than building more wind generators, go and reclaim some trees. That's probably a lot better at this point. Because the similar thing to what I was saying to Grassytiger, you have a ton of metal in storage, sure, but you're producing a ton of energy, and so your storage is going down. So if you build those wind generators, you're just gonna run out of things to do with that energy after a while. So don't build more energy, just reclaim some more trees. And so yeah, here's the moment where you finally run out of all that metal, and you've got more energy than you can use.
Yeah, way too much.
Commander self-destructed.
Right. That was a really,
Battle
really
ended.
strong early game, Yell. Well played. And honestly, against a slightly less formidable opponent, I reckon you would have won that. But so let's take another look at that game, and we'll have I'll see if I can point out a few things to you that would help you convert that almost win into a win.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm dead. Like
Yeah.
minute 2:30, I was like, I'm dead.
Yeah. Lucky for you, he only had that one very good trick, and then wasn't really sure what to do after that.
Yeah, I think if he would have made thugs a lot earlier, he could have just pushed me way harder.
Well, I wouldn't have built thugs, and that's
Battle
one of the things I'm going to talk about. For you, Grassytiger, pushing thugs through south was a pretty good idea. But I'd have pointed Yell in a different direction. So, Grassy, what I want to point out is to you is what Yell did in order to kill you. So, so there's this idea of in order to control the map, what you want to do is like if you're going to push your commander here, then your commander can build laser towers and stuff, so he can shut off this lane fairly effectively, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you need to deal with these other two lanes somehow. This one's a big, wide open lane. It's really hard to close off and defend. You send your fast mobile units to that lane, because they can move across it, they can defend it, and they can get across the map pretty effectively and kill the enemy player, right? And so that's what he did to you. He flooded all his units into here. You had a bunch of your units up there. Partly it was that. Partly you also didn't have a very productive build
Didn't
at
have a lot
start.
of units.
And so that he's ended up with like a full 200 metal. And I remind me, and I'll like restart the game and talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
About the implications of doing a 1 mech start. But generally I'd say do a 2 mech start and you won't have that metal deficit there. And that'll like that's like your 200 metal worth of advantage right there. That's gonna be pressuring your base. And then so you push the units here, and this is a very narrow lane, which means it's really easy to just close the lane off with a single laser tower, which means this constructor can do it very easily. It's also really close to base, so you can come back and just stick the laser tower there. That's really close to you. Your commander's in the middle, so your commander can establish vision. You pop a radar there, which is really easy to do, and it covers right to the edge of the map, so you can see if anything's coming here. Whereas like a radar up here, it's really hard to get good enough radar coverage of the south in order to stop it, which is another reason why you want your scout units to be south. Right?
Okay.
And so on Avalanche, that turns into commander mid, constructor over here, and then an army over here. And once you've got your army controlling this lane, then you can follow it up with constructor. Once the constructor gets close to the midpoint, he can start building laser towers, and then you can start shifting your army around once the map is controlled.
Okay.
What to do once you have that control over the map, and that's something to think about. I want to talk about these battles, so I might have to restart the replay for that. But what to do once you have the map controlled like this, because at this point here, YEL has very good control over the map. Your base is still vulnerable, and so he does come in and kill this again. But this is the sort of time where, like, YEL, you've closed this off, right? So what's going to be a threat to you here?
Top lane.
Partly, yes. And so this constructor, rather than coming up there building mechs, just build a couple laser towers there. That's all you need. The other thing you need is a radar over here. That's one thing you forgot. Just drop a radar here, and then you would have seen those units come up there. You can't see... You can only see up to this line at the moment, so you didn't know these were up there until you went up there. But if your commander had built a radar up here rather than those additional laser towers, you would have seen, you would have been safe, you wouldn't have lost that constructor and that grunt and stuff. You would have been fine. Okay?
I'm sure I actually didn't lose that one, or am I mistaken?
Okay. You could have, though.
Yeah,
enough?
I could have,
Yeah.
definitely.
Right. The laser tower, the radar tower will also give you a bit better information on what these radar dots are. But once you see laser towers here, and you know he's built a couple laser towers, this is your cue to build rocket bots. The great thing about rocket bots is that they are the freest value you can get in a 1v1 like this. And this goes for you too, Grassytiger. Because once you had control over here and you started to like walk maces up into here, yes, maces have more health.
Turrets.
Yeah. Once you're, even though your maces have more health and damage than your rocket bots, I think they're slightly more expensive. It's mostly comparable. But yeah, they have more health and damage for the cost than your rocket bots. So in theory, they give you more value. And yes, while that's true, they also give your enemy value because they have to go into range of the laser towers. And so even though you're getting more value, you're getting less advantage. Make sense? Your rocket bots will give you 40 damage worth of advantage per second. Your maces, well, the instant one walks into a laser tower range, your enemy's doing like 80 damage per second, and you have to walk a little bit further to do You have to walk a little bit further to do 60 damage per second. And now the LLT is only 650 health, but you're 130 health on the mace. So you need like 2 maces per laser tower in order to actually start getting an advantage. Whereas you need one single rocket bot and you're immediately getting advantage, which is crazy value. More than twice as effective.
Yeah, a couple rocket bots early would have been a lot better than just sending the maces to their death.
Yes, so much. And that's the same for you, Yell. Like a very free source of value is just to come over here with a couple rocket bots and kill the laser towers. Now the number of laser towers I'm going to tell rocket bots I'm going to tell you to build is 3, maybe 4, at the very most 5, unless the enemy starts building rocket bots. The reason for that is because you want just enough rocket bots to kill laser towers faster than the commander builds it. Because if you kill them too fast, then they just spend a bunch of time doing nothing, which doesn't really give you any value. They have nothing to do. So if you kill it just faster than the commander builds the LLT, you tie up their resources building LLTs, you tie up their commander building stuff, and probably what the enemy's going to do is just stop building LLTs, and then you have nothing to kill with your rocket bots anymore. So you just build a few, they stop building LLTs, and LLTs are valuable, so that's a bonus for you if they're not building LLTs, even though they're just not spending the resources. And you get that value, and then you can go into something else like your thugs, your vehicles, your air, your fronts, whatever. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the other thing I would probably say to Yell is, like, after you get to this position where you've raided this base as much as you can, he started putting up static defenses and building heavier units like mace. This is your kind of cue to fall back and be defensive, because he's being defensive, so you can't get a lot of value attacking him anymore. So you want to fall back, play it safe, build heavier units like your mace, like your thug and your rocket bot. And this constructor stops building mexes, he just starts building laser towers. That's what he does. And then
you just build the T1, like the base LLT, or would you like throw up like a twin turret?
No, I built the base one.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe once you've got a few, and if he's putting a big army there, then you can build the heavier ones. But again, this is sort of like your push lane, the wide open lane that's hard to defend. So you do want a few towers once you have like mobile unit control of it, but you don't want to put too many towers down. And that goes for up here too, because you end up with laser towers, and then you end up with a heavy laser tower and a couple twin guards and stuff like that. Way too much, especially if you've got a radar here that tells you he's not attacking up there at all.
You can actually see up there, I'm pretty sure, without the radar.
I
don't have a radar there, so I can't see.
Yeah, if you built a radar there, you could see all the way to the edge, and so he can't attack you there. And then the one thing that might be able to attack you is fast units, but that's fine. You just build a couple laser towers to kill that. You only have to build them, if you build them like up here, then it closes off this choke point, whereas if you build it back there, then there's like a gap that units can run around. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you put rocket bots down here, you start defending this one. You don't have to defend it too much, because it's far away from his base, so his slow units probably aren't going to go there, and the slow units are the ones that can kill the laser towers. If he does put slow units there, then you just match with your own slow units, or swarm them with fast units, and then you attack with your slow units down the middle, because it doesn't take them long to go down the middle, so they start getting value faster. So if you send your slow units in the middle, he sends his slow units on the side, you have the advantage, because you're getting value faster, because it's closer. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Longe, have you been paying attention to what I've been saying? He's got to type, so it's very slow. Maybe not. Alright, okay. Let's just do a rematch between you guys then.
Okay.
And yeah. Alright, so yeah, I was gonna talk about one more thing for Grassytiger. I won't talk about the micro thing with the grunts yet. We can do that maybe after next game. Sorry, my client crashed. I'll be back in a moment.
I'm gonna get some water real quick. I will be right back.
Alright. Okay, that's working. Let's stream to Discord again. Alright, I'll also grab a glass of water. Hang on, what am I kidding? I was looking at the replay chat, not the like battle chat, so I can't see if Longe is going to message that. Longe, did you see what I was saying about the did you hear what I was saying about the lanes and the like you pushing the rock bots and stuff in the mid lane? Yeah. I want you to do that this game. For the sole reason, I just want you to see how effective it is. Let's swap out Grassytiger. I'm not a boss anymore, apparently. Let's swap out Grassytiger and we'll play you against YEL and give you both a chance to practice that pushing those units down the mid lane. Alright.
Okay, sorry, I'm back.
Alright. I swapped out Longe because I wanted him to practice the things I was talking about. Yeah. And then I also
So you'd
want
always
to give
open
you
2 mechs on this map?
Yeah, that's the thing I was gonna look at. Grassy,
I know my build was
if
bad.
you yeah. While they play, I'll just load up the replay and show you something. So if you look at me sharing my screen.
Okay.
Battle started.
So just in the time it's taken you to like build your factory, you're like 70 metal behind. So it's like that's pretty difficult for you because like that's the amount of time, say, like how are you going to get 70 metal worth of damage back from like saving 6 seconds? That's like really difficult for you to do.
Is that because I made an extra windmill? Is that because I went solar.
It's because you skipped a max. He's gone 2 max
Oh, okay.
factory. You've gone 1 max
Okay.
factory.
Okay, yeah.
And especially because, like, you can, like, optimize it even further. So, like, you've started with the max entirely within your range. If you start your command so that your build range is just over there, that's, like, that's a good second of walking, which is, like, not massive, but, like, in higher level games, that'll actually make a tangible difference, you know? Because that's, like, 1 second closer to getting scouts out, and the second can be the difference between, like, losing a max or something. Plus it's like a couple metal, plus like that snowballs. If you get a constructor out faster, it gets all of its mexes up 1 second faster, which is like a couple metal per max, and that does add up over time. This is not the most egregious I've seen. Like, I've seen people putting it right in the middle, which means it's a 2 second deficit, which is a lot bigger, but you know. And so it's like, if you're going to sacrifice the second max, you have to think, it's like, okay, how am I going to get back that 70 metal? And
Yeah.
the best way you can get back that 70 metal is by getting one of these scouts across the map as fast as possible and killing one of these maxes. And he is, like, really vulnerable right now. You kind of could do that, but, like, by this point, that 70 metal has turned into, like, 150 metal, right?
Oh, wow.
And you still
Yeah.
haven't got that max. Are you going to kill 150 metal worth of stuff? Like, if you, like,
Right.
built those mexes, boosted out 1 single tick, and then walked over to the other mex, you could probably cap that metal deficit much lower. You'd actually get, like, a little bit ahead because you get your constructor out. Like, your factory's up for more time, right? So it builds more. And so, like, you do actually save more than like you save like 6 seconds on building that, you save a few seconds on walking. I'm not sure exactly how much it would be, something like 4 seconds. So about 10 seconds, which is about 20 seconds per max. Like getting a constructor out faster, like an expanding constructor, which is, it's something, but how is that going to make up for that, like, 100 metal deficit? It's really difficult for it to. And so, especially if you're going a res bot first, well, you haven't really used that energy because you have no metal to use that with. So you have to, like, really think about, what am I sacrificing and how am I going to recoup that sacrifice if you're sacrificing the metal extractor? Which is why I generally say,
some things better.
I generally say just don't, but it's actually really good for you to experiment with, get the hang of, and learn. It's like, okay, how can I make this worth it? There are definitely viable, even 0 max tick rushes that you can do, but they are extremely not so much risky as they have to be really refined. You have to know exactly what timings you're aiming for, because you have to have enough time for your tick to be in their base killing stuff to get value back. And you can do it rather consistently, really, especially because I can't prepare for that early tick every time. So you can get pretty consistent damage. It's just that damage that you get is usually really small enough that you're sacrificing a lot for very little.
Yeah, that'll make sense. And I think, like, with the 5 ticks, I should have just sent him straight across, because it's not like he could have done anything to me if he was, like, the 2 mech start as fast as I can, like, get to his base, see what he's doing.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
and then
exactly.
overbuilding wind, I realized, if I had that res bot, I didn't need to build so much wind. Because it was like, you were kind of telling me, you were like, you don't need to build any more energy. And I'm like, but my energy's at 0. And then I realized I'm still pumping out units, and I need to get units out, or else I'm going to get run over.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people will see, like, a huge metal in storage and assume that they have to, like, this is interesting. Okay. A lot of people will see that they've got a lot of a metal in storage and assume they need more energy, but that's rarely the case. You can generally afford to build very little energy, and it'll take you slightly longer to chew through that metal, but in order to use up the extra metal, then you don't need just extra energy, you need extra build power, and it actually slows you down overall trying to use the extra resources because you're building stuff other than mobile army.
Yeah, I definitely do that a lot where I'm like, I see my metal dipping and then I'll just queue up like 8 wins and like have my comm build the solar wherever he's standing. And I'm like, oh shit, I have no E, even though it's like I'm still able to pump units. And it's like, maybe I just need units at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely that. And when you did shift just into units, you saw how effective that was. You just pushed back across and walked in down.
Yeah, well, there's that the wreck field, and I was like, okay, if I res all these, I should be able to like not die. And then I was like, okay, with a couple thugs, I pushed him back, and I think from there it was kind of over. But I guess I was lucky that, because really I should have won that game. But
yeah.
Yeah, don't overbuild wind.
So, Yell, if you can see here, your army in the south lane, what are you doing with that?
I'm just trying to hold it right now.
If you're just trying to hold it, just build laser towers. That's then your defend lane.
Yeah.
You've got mobile units, they can attack. Go somewhere else. Stop worrying about holding it. And, like, your base is actually in much more need of holding. Go bring your army and hold your base.
Commander has died. Battle ended.
That was rough.
Let's have a look at that one. How do you think it went? Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, how did you play? Did you play as well as you'd hoped?
Not even close.
Okay, what were you disappointed in?
I mean, everything really. I could have done way better. It's been a
Can
long
you
time
give
since I
me
played
one
Core
specific?
and Arma.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, Micro,
Micro? Okay.
I guess.
What about micro? Oh, that didn't work. What were you upset with your micro?
I'm not really sure, honestly.
Okay.
I'm lost.
Are there any particular battles you have in mind when you say micro?
Not really.
Okay.
Battle started.
Wind slow, so we're building a bunch of wind generators, that's alright. But the constructor, okay. Lon just sent his constructor forward. That's interesting to note. Okay. We have the grunts forward here. Okay, let's replay that. I didn't mean for it to still be so fast.
Not sure that sending just construction bots on Avalanche is viable because people always send their commander down middle and it just pushes too hard. Like there's no way a con bot can make enough
Battle
defense to
started.
stop a commander from pushing it out.
Well, let's have a look. You know what? That's a really good point, Jammers, but I think I'm going to ignore it this game just because I want to focus on other things. But yeah, this commander totally could have just walked through there at this point, especially if it was scouted. That's very much worth noting. Okay. Yell, do you know about the set target widget?
Yeah, I do. I use it a
You do?
lot.
Okay. Why? What
It
would you
doesn't seem
set target
necessary
to
here because I was gonna dedicate 2 grunts to kill that one con and 2 for that one grunt on the side. So I didn't want to use it.
Much better here because this constructor's doing nothing except dying. This one's shooting. The faster you kill this, the better for you. The faster you kill this, meh, who cares? Right?
Yeah.
All four of these, you set target on this first, you kill that, and then you chase this down and kill it. Especially because this is faster than you, so you don't want to have any opportunity to stay alive. So that's what you want to do. The fact that what ends up happening is so you have like multiple of these firing at that. This one just runs past. It does a bunch to like a couple different grunts. All up, if we look at the damage taken by these grunts, that one's 46%, so it's done 54% damage, plus 34% is 88% damage, plus 8% damage is 96% damage, plus 8% is 100%, 104% damage. He's destroyed essentially a full grunt worth with that one pawn because you took so long to kill it because you were killing other things. The other thing that happened is this constructor was going this way. You had to pull your army back to kill it, which meant you're farther away from his base. You can't threaten his base as well anymore. So that's a big concern for you. So kill that pawn first. Then you can just keep running forward, kill the constructor. You don't even really need to kill the constructor all that fast. You could just even ignore it and just run past. He can't build anything because you'll just kill it and he'll lose the resources, so you just run forward into his base, right?
Yeah.
Alright, what do you do next? Why are you pulling back?
I was gonna go in, but I was gonna try to regroup all my grunts at once so I can push them all in.
Too early to be regrouping your grunts. You don't know if you need to regroup your grunts. In fact, these ones are actually all here just fine. You've got a few scattered out there, but you're gonna wait forever for them to come. Just send these ones
So in my mind, I thought he was gonna pull all his army to defend mine because
he is
the massive threat.
He is.
Yeah.
He's even
I thought he had a lot more
started
than
to
he
move his
had.
commander around.
Mhm.
Well, that's why you never assume that. You go find out. Whether you... or you can assume, but you just always check your assumption. Plus, I don't see why it would be worth assuming that he has more than you, because you've just killed one of his. You've got 6. He's got 4 left as a result, and yeah, he's got 1 there, and you've got a few of your armies like across the map, but you've actually got a bigger army than he has. You're probably not going to be able to do all that much with it, but you will be able to do something. Yeah. Yeah, also with this commander, especially because he has to keep his commander back here, you want to recognize when this can do stuff, because right now you're sort of defending against nothing, which is why typically, rather than building this laser tower in the middle, in order to lock this lane down most efficiently, drop a laser tower like on the side here and then walk up there. Or because of the max distribution, you actually want to drop a laser tower up here somewhere and then walk down this way. And so I generally walk a little bit out of my way up here, maybe even drop the laser tower back here or something, and then walk down this way. Is often what I do. But of course it depends on like what you see on radar. You've got good radar coverage as well in this situation, so you're pretty safe. If you even just drop one laser tower there and one laser tower there, then you can just walk up here next and then just keep walking forward and killing whatever's in front of you. Once you've overbuilt energy, your pawns don't need that much. You only need about 16 energy per metal. Something like 2 wind generators per max. You've got 4, maybe 5 maxes. 10 wind generators is enough. You've got like at least 3 extra. Wind's high, and so you're going to be accessing a little, but yeah. That's the kind of... if you're being efficient, that's kind of where you want to go. Now, this entire aggressive down this lane, the reason you're aggressive this lane is because it's the open undefended lane, right, Yel? It's no longer the open undefended lane. He has his commander here, and a laser tower. You can probably do a little bit more in this lane, but this is turning into a defend, do not approach lane, because he's put so much effort into defense. Now, there's a couple things you can do with it. You could swap this lane with your grunts out for any lane. You could swap these two, so your commander comes down here, and rather than building all these LLTs up here, again, if he did the 1, 2, 3, then he's in a great position to just walk down here and drop a laser tower there, and then this starts to become a defended lane. Because of your commander.
I'm gonna drop a factory and start making vehicles in the middle, so I wanted that place to be well defended.
When he's this far away, you only need the 2 laser towers. In fact, when he's got an enemy commander, you really only need the 1, because in a 1v1, if he walks up to a commander in a laser tower, he just dies. 1 laser tower is good enough. And so, yeah, so this sort of defense, you don't know about these yet, but you really should be pushing this in as much as you can. And you could, because you're grunts against pawns. Pushing that, trying to get the... And, of course, it's still worth defending this area right now.
And, like, right now, you'd put all your attention on the grunts to just win this grunt versus pawn fight.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And see, he's backing off because he knows he can't beat you. Just follow him in. He'll back off all the way back there. He's throwing pawns up here, which he can't do because you've shut down this lane. Perfect. You're in a great position. So this here, pay a little bit more attention. This is too spread out. Bring them back before they engage, and then you can engage when they're all together. Because if you engage...
You'd use the fight command, right?
No.
Stop using the fight command.
Probably not. Probably not. I'd probably...
Okay.
If you want to regroup, don't send a command all the way back here. 1 in the middle of them. That's the fastest regroup, because these ones will come forward, these ones will come back, and then once they regroup, which will take you like 1 second, then you can go forward again. You could even like do a waypoint there and then shift queue the waypoint forward, so you waste no time waiting. And then you push forward as soon as possible. You've got, what, 9 against 5. You push right up to here. You could even come around here, but probably not worth it because his commander can then lock you down. Probably more worth it to come up there and start swapping your lanes like that.
Would have been a good idea once I saw the rocket bots in his commander, shift my commander to the right lane and push my troops down the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably not, because, again, like, he's putting up laser towers in this middle lane, so you probably don't want your grunts in the middle lane. So you can put, like, your rocket bots and thugs in the mid lane, and then the grunts, because this was very open. That's finally an opportunity for them to run through that lane. That doesn't happen often on this map, but it does happen. And we'll see, it's like you build up like a ton of grunts, you see the commander over here, and immediately as soon as the commander's over here, you need to evacuate because these can't do anything now against the commander. Yeah. These evacuate, that's when they come up here. You should have probably worked out that these were laser towers by now. You haven't even checked, which is really bad. You haven't checked that they're laser towers.
Yeah, I've never thought about them.
Right. In order to make informed decisions, and good decisions, you need to be informed. You can easily just take one grunt up here and just scout it out, or just build a forward radar. If you build like the radar like up here, that'll probably show you what most of that stuff is. But I'd probably use a grunt because it's less vulnerable. And then, because you've got this radar up here, which is awesome, you can see that there's hardly anything going up there. You've been watching that for a little while, you know nothing's gone up there, you know it's vulnerable. And when you see one slow thing walking up there, okay, that was sped up, but you see one slow thing walking up there, and you know you can't do anything over here, just grab all of these and come up and go around and in. And his commander's over there, he won't be able to catch up to you. And again, this commander's come back here. If you want to do this, get a res bot, and you've got enough energy anyway. Bring him down there. Yeah. So, and then these just sit here doing nothing for a really long time. Where, if we look at it, he's got 4 grunts there. And you've got 4 pawns, and he's got 15 grunts. That's a huge metal investment that you've got across here. Which is not doing anything.
As soon as I was trying to buy time for my my thugs and missile bots to go down there.
Yeah, yeah. Remember what I said about the thugs and missile, like, they're slow, so they should go down the middle lane? That's where you want to be putting them. Yeah. And then these ones again. Bring them up here.
Yeah.
Other little details.
Yeah, but I would leave the right lane wide open for him to push me though.
The bottom lane. Yeah, this one here. It would have, but that's why you turn it into a defend lane, and rather than walking this out here, you just start building towers up here. You've also got the factory here, which can put out units pretty quickly. If you have a radar, you can see anything coming. And the other thing, remember I told you this commander should have walked down here in order to defend it. And then it's a closed off defended lane. You don't need your commander up there anymore because it's got all those laser towers, it's fine. Bring it down here. How's that?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Lunch, how did you find this game? I hate that. Oh, that is so frustrating. I can't pause it when I've got Lobby Shrine.
Commander has died. Battle ended.
You're prepping for a con turret, but then your plans went sideways. A construction turret takes less energy per metal to build than a pawn. You don't need to prep like a ridiculous amount of resources to build these things. Just balance out your production. Don't overbuild energy. Yeah.
It's better to have just enough than to be like overflowing a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because if you're overflowing a lot, that's all idle stuff. And it's like, even if wind fluctuates, if you have got enough energy production on average to use up your metal, then you're just gonna use up your metal anyway, even if it's not used up at exactly the time you might like. And then you'll have extra metal to use because you're not building it all on energy. Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna build it with your comm, which takes about 200 E a second. I mean, look, you don't have to like massively overbuild energy for that. Like, regardless what your command is doing at that point, it's probably like not using too much. It can build other things in between, to moderate how much energy you're using versus other things. Yeah. All right. Can we grab people in for a 2v2? Jamerz, you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Do you want to jump in for a 2v2?
Sure.
And how will we do the teams? Let's put you with YEL against Grassytiger and Lunge and see how that goes.
All right.
Are now playing.
And okay, what map are we doing this on? Let's do this one. Because this should give a good chance to continue practicing like the commander in one lane, the army in the other, and like the rocket bot things we've been talking about.
Well, I needed more solar gaming practice anyway.
Is there any particular thing you're wanting practice about with the solo games?
Is your starting location?
It's mostly just like after about 6 minutes or so, like really getting the snowball, and like when you build e-storage and like when you swap to advanced solar, or if you just keep building T1 solars.
Why
the
do you need
easy
an
way out
energy
design.
storage to go advanced solar?
Expensive.
Is it?
I
Is it
guess I
worth
use
it
it
to
as
build
a
advanced?
crutch. It's just nice to keep the economy going smooth.
If you're needing an
you
energy
get enough.
storage to build advanced solar, then you've got too much energy for whatever else you're doing. And if I remember correctly, and we go to let's go Armada Advanced Solar because it's inexplicably worse. It's about 14 energy per metal. A lot of the things you're building are going to be in the ballpark of that. I mean, if your vehicles like might be more difficult, but that's like the same ratio. In fact, a better ratio than your like missile trucks, your artillery. maybe not so much your brutes and incisors. But then if you're a cortex anyway, it's much better. It's about 1:11 or something. Where's the cortex count? Yes. 4,000 to 370. Yeah, it's about 10.8 energy per metal, which is actually really close to everything else you're building. Constructors are way worse than that. So you don't actually need that much stored up for it. What I'd probably say, it's probably a better approach to like slightly overbuild your energy and then just start reclaiming solars and converting them to advanced solars or something like that is what I tend to do. But even that sort of build power intensive.
I guess when I think about the problem, I think about when I'm facing strong players on solar maps, like specifically like her name Galgan told. I've never really said that name out loud. He is infamous for just launching tanks and scaling solar energy really hard, and he often just has an Aphis farm going in the back. And he'll keep constant pressure too. At least have good defense, but
so
just scales really hard.
Yeah.
One construction bot consumes 32 energy a second when it's making a advanced solar.
Yeah.
Just for reference.
Yeah. Yeah, what are you going what are you doing with those grunts?
Just forming a line.
They have a lot of vision. How could you use that vision to your advantage? Remember about if there are radar dots, you can walk up to the radar dots and see what they are so that you can know what to do with them. You committed another cardinal sin. You attacked and then looked at your base. Now, I like the idea of putting the laser turrets on the side there, but they're really way in the middle of nowhere, not even near a mix. So, that's a lot of extra walking for very little benefit. Also, Yel, remember, you just discovered a commander, and he's building laser turrets and whatnot. So what do you want to change about what you're building because of that?
Rocket bunch.
Yeah. And same for you, Grassytiger. You see the commander, immediately rocket bots.
Radar lost.
Yell, check your resource production. You don't need any more energy production right now, so just stop building it. Neil, don't take your rocket bots to chase after the pawns. They're just so slow. They're gonna spend a huge amount of time doing nothing. Maybe create a couple grunts. Keep in mind that if the pawns are traveling towards your base can build stuff that can kill the pawns. So that's a pretty good approach to killing the stuff that's heading towards your base. Is just use the stuff that's coming out of the factory. Oh, you're not working again. A jam is in a really defensive position like this. A pounder is probably a really good unit to build, just because of its defensive power. Because he's coming to you, so that negates the pounder's biggest weakness, which is the fact that it's slow. Yeah, let's spread those units out a little bit more. They're getting in front of each other and stopping each other from firing. And spread them out again. Yep, good. Now push forward again. As soon as he retreats, you follow him back. And this is where you immediately bring up a res bot, start repairing or reclaiming.
Oh, god damn it.
Yeah, move your commander into the gap to close off the units coming through. That's where you want him. Also, yeah, change into thugs, probably.
An allied commander has died. Warning. Your team is down to its last commander.
Got energy, digger. You had energy. There was one good dig done.
Yeah, before I like to build mini storage.
Battle ended.
I reckon, yeah, if you'd have just kept your army on the front line, fighting more of the time and not chase those couple of pawns that came through, you could have beat Grassytiger down that game. Grassytiger, you played a pretty good, solid game there. I just, again, like, make sure you make the transition to units like rocket bots that can fight the commander or the laser towers. Lunge played this really well. I probably want to focus on how Jamerz played.
Battle started.
Actually, sorry. Give me a minute. Alrighty, we're back. So let's not speed it up that much. That's way too much, and I would just miss things. So Jamerz, putting out these units here. Scouts do have a purpose, but generally speaking, this would be a great opportunity to have an insight, like you've got your commander over here. And if you're expanding with constructor, it's the same principle I've been talking about all day, basically. It's commander in one lane, army in the other, so just get incisors to follow this out. Your commander can drop a radar, like, here is a really good place for a radar, because then you just see all the units coming through on both sides of the map, so the middle player, it's very good for them to drop that radar there. That would go for you too, Grassytiger. Drop that radar there, you see all these units coming in well in advance, and then you just have you drop your laser tower there, and then you can put your incisor out here as well. On this map, I tend to be inclined to not expand with a constructor as well on the 2-mech spot, simply because you don't have a lot of resources, and so it's really hard for you to initially get the resources to defend 2 lanes, so I tend to, like, pop a laser tower there, pop a laser tower there, and then build up some units before I start expanding over there. But yeah, if you just had a complete incisor over there plus radar, so you could know that they're coming in advance, and this incisor could drive right over there as well, you'd be pretty alright.
Yeah, that was a misplay on my part. I assumed they would go vehicles.
Yeah. Well,
Since
even if they did, they
bots
could
are
have like a
more
couple.
energy. Well, I was just saying because bots are more energy expensive, so vehicles are preferred on no win maps, and then
Some bots,
vehicle
some are
players
energy
often send
expensive.
they often send a lot of scouts, and I was just kind of playing into that, and then
Yeah.
once I saw that I was fighting bots, I started making incisors.
Well, it's pretty, especially when you have a radar up here, it's pretty simple to use incisors against scouts coming through. Especially because you have good control over this area with your commander and the laser tower. He has good control over this area with his grunts coming out. And then you have a couple incisors over here, and together with the radar, they have good control over that area too. So you're really secure against, like, a lot of scouts coming through.
Suppose that's true.
I don't know exactly the profile of, like, 2 incisors against this number of units, but if you had just one vehicle scout and then the rest of them were and then, like, the rest of it was an incisor, this one wouldn't be complete yet, but it would be close enough to being completed. and you'd be in a pretty secure situation. The other thing is, I'm tempted to say just skip one of these solars, but I don't entirely know how that would work. Maybe even just delay the solar or something like that. I don't know. Just for that little extra metal. I'd say the opposite thing for YEL. If you're building grunts, you know you're going to need 6 solars at least for this starting position.
I just want to get a grunt ounce in case a tech came my way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you get a couple grunts out, and then you go back to putting out a few more solars. And in this case, again, it's like radar out here, laser tower there if you're like trying to defend yourself, or like if you know that units are coming, like you fought with the scouts against there, I reckon you could have known either a laser tower or just focus the resources on getting your incisors out so that they can come up, bring this constructor back to here, because your incisors are mobile, which is really powerful.
For that corner one, should you go laser tower before mechs just to be safer?
I mean, if you've got a radar up here, nah, you don't really need it. And especially if you've got a radar up here and you're sending your units that way by default, and you've actually got units that have defensive power, you're fine. I mean, I guess there's some leeway. Like, if he had his scouts, like, over here, dealing damage and harassing there, Lunge is actually really vulnerable against that, and so you could have done a ton of damage to Lunge, and possibly, like, equal damage, like, Jamerz has his incisors out, and so if they just sit here while he does stuff, those scouts are over there wreaking havoc, Lunge could be in a lot of trouble. So you've got to make sure you're using those scouts as, like, effectively in the way that scouts are effective and not against a pawn. Or you've got to just not build them and build something more defensive. This is just a minor thing. Laser tower, just pop it more that way. Just gives it a little bit more defensive power. And again, if the radar say you'd see these coming, and you'd be able to keep this alive. But yeah, if that laser tower was there instead, that mech would still be alive. And if you had your incisors out as well, they could have dealt with those units pushed back up here, met with there, and then you've sort of, what I tend to do is this commander, I'll walk him this way from there. This will turn into my units lane that are and my units covering the constructor. And then this will be my commander defend lane, which will turn into my artillery lane later on. This is good rocket butt timing for Lunge, but with this here, I mean, thugs are going to be pretty effective at shutting down the incisors, but you've still got a definite window of not, like, these incisors are mobile and able to get into places and deal damage and have the opportunity to, say, if you still had scouts alive, or if you built another scout, bring them up and start doing raiding damage around the side while you just back off with your commander and wait for something heavier to come up. And generally on this sort of map, you can expect that the commander's going to be here. Bonus points if you scout it with those scouts that you had earlier, and then you can anticipate as your commander gets to about here, you'll anticipate the fact that you're going to be coming into commander dual territory and switch into, like, an artillery like your missile truck. In order to deal with that confrontation up there, rather than building this stuff here and not having anything to fight this fight, so you just have to back off. Like, even if these incisors came down and hit Grassytiger, because Grassytiger's been busy, he doesn't have a lot of artillery units, he's very vulnerable to that sort of raiding over there. Also important to note, I mean, I wouldn't have moved these out there. I would use grunts to fight this. Once you deal with the laser turrets, use grunts to do this sort of thing, and keep pushing the rocket bots in here. Bring your commander in here too, straight towards there. If you have this sort of run by, focus on using your factory to defend against it rather than bringing your commander back, and just breathe down hard on his neck, because he's really vulnerable because he doesn't have those units there anymore. Yeah, just keep applying that pressure in on him. And yeah, just too many constructors here. Partly it's an energy production issue. You've had this constructor out here building nexus. You have the commander building nexus. You haven't added any additional solar collectors in here. You're probably looking at needing about 250, 270 energy production in this kind of a case, so you need another 5 solars to handle your metal production if you're going for these lashes. You also just don't need that many constructors, so let's say we swap out hard to tell. It's hard to tell whether you want only like 1 or 2 constructors on that. But just fewer constructors. 1 could very well be enough. And then you'd have at least an extra solar. Maybe if your commander built a couple solars before he moved up, you could have the additional energy to pump these out faster. And then even though you're sort of on the back foot because you built too many incisors, not enough artillery, you'd be able to somewhat recover from that. Make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
With 1 constructor and the factory, that's about 165 energy, making the lasher.
Okay. So, yeah, I'd probably say 2 constructors on the factory then. This is a good example of the one, like, once you've got the constructors up, this turns into like a defend lane, and this is like your push with units lane. Just more of the idea of what's going on the it's a reflection of what happens on Avalanche too. And also, for your interest, yeah, he has 4 rocket bots there. While you've got 4 rocket bots and 3 thugs. Sorry, you've got a considerable advantage that you could be leveraging. This commander or scouts could be identifying this, so you could kill this before it's done. His commander's over there, so don't bother about pushing that one. Just push down this way, because and that's where he's weak, and you've got your big advantage, and then you can just push in there, and you have a lot of power in that case there. Make sense?
Yeah.
Any questions?
So, like, I think at my base towards the end of the game, I'm stalling on energy. I have like, I don't know, what was it like? I've got like 200. Well, I wasn't anymore. Never mind. Should I have just taken like 2 workers and just like spammed solars?
Nah. This case, I might, like, if you really need solar, just get all your constructors and build a solar. But look, you've got plus 200 energy, plus 18 metal. If we we factor in your mexes here.
Like I'm trying to
You've got
figure out how I
minus
should
20
spend this
energy.
metal.
So you've got plus 20 plus 190 energy after we take away what the mexes are using, and you have plus 18 metal. How much energy do you need to get through all of that metal production? Well, Rocketeer takes 1,000 energy divided by 120 metal times your 18 metal. You need 150 energy per second to use all the metal you're producing. Plus, you're going to be using about you're going to be using extra because you've got another 40 energy on the table to use. So, if we go,
How much does that LLT use?
20.
Okay.
So you can use about 4 point something metal per second of your backlog. Maybe you want to get through it faster than that. I don't. So if you want to get through it faster than that, you can build a solar, but I wouldn't be too fussed. It is going to take you like a few minutes to get through that, so maybe you do want to add like a couple more solars. Because you're not going to use that metal anyway because you've got a ton in storage. But you've also got plenty. You just pop more into army and you're fine. So maybe if anything, if your commander doesn't have anything to do, he could build a solar, and then you could reclaim stuff to make up for that, but you're fine.
Okay, because I just was like, oh, I'm storing all this metal, so I just like spam through a solar with my commander and then threw up a factory because I was like, I don't know how to spend this metal fast enough, and
well,
I guess I should have just.
Yeah, I mean, a factory is actually a really good way to spend, because if we look at it's 8.3 energy per metal for your rocket bots, whereas for a factory, let's compare a bot factory actually, because I'd probably personally build another bot factory in this case. While it's like 2 energy per metal to build that bot factory, that's crazy. You get that for basically free. You'd need for like plus 18 metal per second, you need plus 36 energy to build that bot factory, and then you just chew through the remainder of the and then that because you've got like another plus 150 energy per second, you're gonna build that factory for a good you're gonna build that factory for a good 15-ish seconds, 16 seconds. 16 times 150, that's somewhere around 250, 2,500 energy, which is plenty enough then to use your backlog of metal. So yeah, just popping it down a bot factory would be great, and then you also get the advantage of not having to walk your army that distance. A vehicle factory would do that too. You don't even need an extra solars in order to do that, because if we skip forward a bunch.
Yeah, I throw up a factory like.
Yeah, okay, you build one solar, that's fine.
Okay.
And then see you're in a much better position. Better-ish. Then you start building ticks, which cost a ton of energy.
Okay.
And you've also built a construction turret, which again costs like, it's like 20 to, that's like 20 to 300, that's like 200 to 3,000. So it's like, that's 1 to 15, 1 metal to 15 energy, which is like worse than what you have. In order to do that, you'd have to be at, you'd have to be at somewhere like approaching 400 energy per second
Okay.
for
keep
for
up.
what you're maintaining here. But if you just continued with your rocket bots or your mace, you have plenty. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think if he would have pushed me, like, kind of got away from the beamer turret, I was kind of worried for a second that he was just gonna like thug me down and rocket bot my
Yeah.
turrets and then kill my forward factory. And so I was kind of like, I don't know, shit in the
Yeah.
bed there. And I was like, well, the ticks are the fastest. Rocket bots aren't gonna really hit the ticks very well, and I'll just kind of like spam them around and make them miss.
Yeah, I still wouldn't go for the ticks.
Okay.
If anything, I'd go for the pawns. You could afford to build, like, if your commander's here, you can afford to build the factory as far back as, like, there, or something like that,
Yeah.
which gives you a lot more time. Or if you're really concerned, don't even worry about the second factory. Laser turrets are cheap to build on energy, though they do require energy to fire. Yeah.
I could have thrown up a bunch of laser turrets instead of the factory.
Yeah. Maybe like 3, and then the factory. He does have rocket bots, so that is a bit iffy. You can bring these constructors over and build it. Or maybe these constructors can build the factory for you, because you've got a beamer over there, and then you move the commander over there. Something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I guess they could have built it where they're at behind the beamer.
Yeah. You have so many options, and honestly, I would not build a construction turret basically ever on a solo map until maybe
Okay.
you're T2. There's a few reasons why. One of the reasons is maybe once you get to like a lot of constructors kind of a thing, maybe you'd then build construction turrets, or if you're doing something like repairing frontline and your vehicles. But these constructors,
They're
each of
not
them
as
have
efficient.
an energy production on them, which is quite significant actually. And so if you add up the amount of energy production, if all you're doing is guarding a single lab, which this construction turret is doing, these constructors are going to actually do it more efficiently because of their extra energy production.
Okay.
Because we add your constructors together, that's actually plus 42 energy. That's 1/6 of your entire production.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Now you know.
Huh.
All right.
Okay, that was all my questions.
Nice. Idle rest spot makes me sad. Anyone else have questions?
Oh yeah.
Alright. I encourage you all to play another game. Just practice what we've talked about. But I'm done for today. Thank you everyone for joining. And hopefully we'll be back next week with Othello and Nexa.
Okay, cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Have
yeah.
a good night, MasterBel2.
Thanks you to Jamerz. Catch ya. And goodbye to the stream. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll catch you next week, same time.